Hey everybody, are you ready to hand this off anything?
Just about. Still good access to the pizza back there, so people don't have to push too many seats aside to get out their pizza.
It's all for me.
You gotta knock this kid over.
Okay.
And you gotta, Todd Tucky is guarding the pizza.
Guarding, that's like the fox in the
So you gotta get by him.
Find a seat. And here he is, Jack Guarneri.
Thank you very little. Thank you. Everybody had pizza? This has become a tradition for many years. When we couldn't make games, we made pizza. And we made shirts and we made other stuff. And I have some giveaways later. We're going to have question and answer. And I just wanted to thank Gabe, first and foremost. Gabe and all his people running the show. And it started from really just a little idea that he had, kind of like the little idea I had to start a pinball company. He started the show. And I really enjoy it. I really appreciate it. And I really thank you and your people for the show. I think it's really great. So thank you.
Didn't it actually start from a little guy on your forum that wanted his update every 2 weeks?
Yeah, every Friday, every Thursday during the Wizard of Oz years. And it was years. He would be writing me and Jen, where's my update? Where's my Friday update? Where's your magic iPad? What's going on? You know, listen, how many people here have the pinball ringtone on their iPhone? So when your phone rings, everybody is looking at their phone. You know, so yeah, Gabe started with that whole thing, and we would struggle to come up with an update. I think one week, like a coil fell off the shelf, and Jen and I used it as an update or something like that. So now it's a little different. We've built several thousand games. We're very blessed and very lucky that we have an amazing loyal customer base. How many people here have the Jersey Jack game? Anybody? It's cool. Good. Maybe one of the questions later will be, when are you guys going to start building pirates? So we'll leave that for a question later. I don't want to answer it now. But it's not long. You know, I said summer, and there were people that went, you know, they went onto the astrological weather charts, and they said summer starts on the 21st of June and it ends on the 21st of September. So is it closer to the 21st of June or closer to the 21st of September? And I'll just say yes, it is. You know, the silly answer to the whole thing is obvious. You know, when all the parts arrive, we build games. And we're lucky we have more than 1,000 pirates on order. Did anybody get to catch Butch's deep dive with the pirate game? You know, so I learned a lot. And thank you, Butch. You know, it is truly a blessing to have you work now full time for the company. We're really lucky that we have a lot of passionate people working. Oh, look at this. Come on in. That's great. Anybody want to take any home? You're welcome to take a to-go plate. It's very nice. It's not Brooklyn, but it's okay. It's good. Price is right. Right? So who's going to complain? Yeah, so we're really lucky that we have so many people in the company, pretty much I would say everybody, that really love pinball, and they love what we're doing. They love our customer base. They love to, you know, spread fun and happiness in the world. You know, it's a crazy world, and we are very lucky to be making things that are fun, make people smile. And I get a lot of emails and phone calls from people. The majority of them are people that are really happy with their games, and especially young people and women still tell me about Wizard of Oz. You know, every show I go to, so far this year I'm at 90,000 miles in the air so far, and I guess today the first half of the year ends. So I'll certainly make it to 1K United again, I'm sure. I still have a trip to Australia and a whole bunch of other trips. Pretty much almost every weekend I'm at a pinball show or two, and it's really cool. You know, it's really a great thing. I get to, you know, I was in China a couple weeks ago. I was visiting a factory, and I was at the amusement park show, and I was in Paris, and I was in Vienna, I was in Austria. You know, it's great. It's great. You know, I'm doing this now, believe it or not, like 42 years, and imagine that I'm just 45 years old. So
Again.
How the hell did that happen, you know? So, really kind of lucky, you know. I never thought I would start a pinball company. It was just, we just wanted to make games, you know. I didn't know all of what was involved. And it was a good thing, because the entrepreneurial side of me had to convince myself that this is what I wanted to do. And, you know, we had some difficulties, like everything worth doing. Our games take a lot to make and to design. And if you played Pirates of the Caribbean and you spent some time with the deep dive with Butch, you really got to see, you know, this much of the surface of what that game is. Because there's so much more to that game that goes into it. It's all the engineering, all the mechanical drawings, all the programming, all the sound, all the ideas, things that we think about that we say are great today, and then we wake up tomorrow morning and we throw it out in the garbage and we start all over again. And part of that, you know, the DNA of the company, for good or bad, it comes from me in the beginning, because it's gonna kind of be what I think it's gonna be. And people in the company just want to make great games, and they want to make all you guys happy. This poor guy can't see me because I'm standing right behind him, so sorry to make you strain your neck. So I have a little video, put together a bunch of pictures, and if anybody has any questions, just stick your hand up and I'll be happy to answer, or Butch will be happy to answer. Like I said, we have some posters and some other stuff, some collectibles that Gabe gave me. You know, in the factory it's pretty funny, because we have things that they get rejected. And then, you know, I go and I don't know if I have, yeah, I think I do. I go take this, and I go like that, and I give it to somebody, and it's an automatic collectible, and I see it on eBay for like $200. I said, wow, I should do that for my retirement account. You know?
From the junkyard to the bank, yeah.
Exactly. Hi, Gabe. How are you, buddy? Give me a hug.
Oh,
I think, aside from his wife and kids, I'm the only one that loves him. Not true. All right, Butch, go ahead. Why don't you, Eric Carmanian, nice Armenian band. I worked for some Armenians years ago. I ran Mandal International Corporation, which nobody probably knows. Mandal was in the coin-operated amusement industry. You know Mandal for sure, and so does Mike Dodona. Where's the Jersey Jack Pinball Distributors? Here's Big Mikey from Automated Services. And you have, deservedly so, and you have Tommy Lyons over there from Seacoast Amusements. Tommy. And you have, he's not a Jersey Jack distributor, but somehow he gets games now and then. And, you know, Todd Tuckey, the legend. Is Alan Seahack back in the room, or is Alan was eating Chinese food on the floor of the, am I okay over here with the audio? I hear myself, and I have a difficult time hearing myself, because I got my Brooklyn accent kicking in, so I know. Well, I don't know about that. All right, Butch, let's go to the first one. Eric, where's this guy taking pictures? What is he doing? Where's this going? Is this going?
That's why you're up there.
I never see any of these pictures. You know, people are taking pictures all the time. I never see this. There's no film in any of these cameras. Okay, so what are we looking at? The back of your haircut, Butch?
Yeah, nice.
That's very nice.
Going on our YouTube channel.
Okay,
yeah.
really?
Okay.
You have a YouTube channel? Wow. I can't believe it. You couldn't even send me an email a few years ago.
You could still ask
I
for
got
an
Derek. I
update.
got Derek.
Look at, oh, you have Derek, you have people.
Yeah, I have people.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, you were so relaxed yesterday.
It's so cute watching them grow up, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Actually, that was so long ago. I'm wrong. That was today, it was so long ago. Because I got up at like 4 in the morning when I got here this morning. 'Cause that was this morning. You were so relaxed and I was shocked. And you said you have great people. So that's a good thing. So we're trying to make pinball great again, right? So in 2015, hi, you want to sit? No, you good? Okay. I take a hug.
No more hugs.
I love you too. Check us in the mail.
Yeah,
Okay. So, you know, back in 2015, somebody ran for president and he came up with the saying, and I ripped it off and I said, make pinball great again. And I didn't want to spend any money. Where the hell is the picture? Where is that?
You gotta talk to
Can
Jeff.
everybody see me?
Multi.
So I got this idea to make these hats, make pinball great again, and we gave them out. Mike has a bunch of them, and I didn't want to spend money trademarking that saying. We need to give lawyers more money. And somebody with a bar called Patterns in St. Louis actually started making that stuff and selling it on his website. So I had to say, what are you doing? You know, like, I've been using it. No, I've been using it for 5 years, he said. 5 years? Well, prove that. He couldn't prove it, so now we actually got the trademark. I had to spend money and get the trademark, so he can't use that anymore. So you got to battle for everything. I don't know why it has to be a battle, but you got to battle for everything. So go to the next one, Butch. So I always love kind of starting with this picture because this was really the first part of the dream come true. You know, a whole line of Wizard of Oz games in the building. And Wizard of Oz, we've sold probably 33 or 3,400 games so far. And most of them actually work. You know, George is laughing because he had his game in our building. We had to rebuild the whole game. I don't see the great cloud over you, George, so I think it's been exercised right out of your life. So you have good luck again, okay? So we're going to bless you with the pinball blessing. Okay. Stay away from me. No. Hello? Hi. Nice to see you. So, Eric's got wires coming out there and everything like that. So there are Woz light kits available. If anybody has an old Woz game and you're having issues with your lighting, we have a 2.0 light kit that we're selling at a discount. So if you have issues, email me or email Butch, and we'll work out some kind of deal where we can get your game up and running. We also, for the people that can't install them, because it's about, how many hours?
That's a trick question.
It's about 30 hours to install this. It takes longer to install a light kit than to build a whole game. Is that right?
It's probably right, yeah.
Yeah. So we're doing the labor on them and everything, so you know we want to make sure we try to support everything we sell. Go to the next one. And those are Hobbits. We're actually still building Hobbits, believe it or not. Somebody told me we're the only major pinball factory still building all the games that we've released. So we're building Wizard of Oz later this year. Probably in October, we'll go back and build some. Mike has a bunch on order. A few other people have a bunch on order because people around the holidays might buy some. And Hobbit, we still have some Hobbits we're building. Go ahead, Butch. More Hobbits. By the way, on the 7th of July, 7/7, there will be a new code update for the Hobbit. And I can send you release notes if you want to bitch about, if you want to look at what they are in advance, pre-criticize the people and come up with your own ideas for what you would do if you were a software programmer, how you would make the game play, so. Go ahead. Dialed in, mixed in with Hobbits. So this was taken a couple weeks ago when we were building some Hobbits and Dialed in. Dialed in is still really a great game. It's still gaining traction. Who hasn't dialed in here? Yeah. Today I heard a lot of compliments, and I want to thank you for incorporating this artwork. This is original artwork. This is not by John Yowsey. This is done, who's the artist?
Joel D. Gomez.
Joel D.
Guzman. Right here.
Guzman.
Right here. Right
Where
here.
is he?
Guzman. All right.
Up and coming pinball artist. He should be doing pinball machines for sure, because this is beautiful. He took the idea. Yeah, and we're going to give away some of those. And Joel, you can sign some if they're not signed, and Butch will sign them, and Mike can sign them, and
Joel's signature be worth.
I can sign them, and yeah, I would sign one for me. I want to hang one up. It's beautiful, really nice.
Great work.
Good job.
Thanks.
Yep. So we're building Dialed In still. Yes.
Are you talking about how you're still selling old games?
They're not old games.
Wait a minute, that's not what he said.
Beat that guy up, will you?
That's putting words in your mouth.
Yeah. What is this, fake news? See, this is the problem with this country.
That's CNN right there.
This is the problem right here. Did I say that? Did I say they were old games?
No.
Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you.
That hurts.
He's a member of the media, this guy. Yes. See, I like that hat too.
What I say. What I was interested in is how much of the sales these days are going to individuals versus arcades and locations?
I like that accent too, you know.
Is it
So, that's proprietary information, none of your business. No, actually, most of the games we build and sell go to home customers. And, you know, when I started pinballsales.com at the end of 1999, I really recognized that home customers would be the up and coming thing. And a lot of people told me that, you know, that would be out of business and nobody at home wants to buy a pinball machine or anything like that. You know, it's rough today for operators. I'm an operator and there are a lot of operators that we support with games, but you know, you think about it, the buying a game
Vocabulary
for
check over here.
several $1,000s, and it requires service, and our games do very well on location, but it's still an uphill battle for a lot of the guys, right, Tommy?
Yes.
You're an operator, right? You got games on location.
I do.
What do your games make any money?
Yes and no.
Okay, there's okay, that's it, no. So, they make money and they don't make money. There's a great answer for you. No, elaborate.
No, really, they do about $400 to $500 a month, but it's all straight, steady. And the good part about is when they're out on location, a lot of people tell other people. And I have 2 locations where the bowling center opens up at 10 o'clock and there's like 6 of them just there. And all they do is they play the pinball 2 or 3 hours and then they leave. And so he's waiting for the new dial in for me to buy it, to put it in there, and take out the Wizard of Oz. But the Wizard of Oz has been there about 2 years, 2.5 years, and it's already paid for itself. So, you know, you get locations like that that, you know, will make the money.
Yeah. Yes.
Alan has like 5 of them on location.
Alan C. Hack does have a whole bunch of them on location. He's eating Chinese food inside. Why would he want to be in here? What can I tell you? So let's go to the next one, Butch. But it's mostly home customers, which is great, which is all of you people, which is wonderful. This is a site that I never thought I would see in my building. Games in boxes, ready to go to customers all over the world, and it's a great thing. You know, when you start something and there's nothing in the building, and we used to sit at the lunch table, Jen and I and a couple other people would sit at the lunch table in the front of the building. The whole back of the building was dark and there wasn't one part in there. And we would joke, you know, hey, how many games did we build today? You know, and of course, there was nothing. You know, when you have something like that, you're actually saying, you know, there are a whole bunch of people going to buy our product. There are a whole bunch of people going to work here. There are a whole bunch of vendors going to make parts for us. There are a whole bunch of distributors that are going to do that. Just none of them know it yet. But I knew it. So it's kind of funny. It's nice to see something like that come true and work towards making it come true. So we get a lot of visitors to the factory, and we get groups of young people, especially classes, scout troops, different organizations, and we let everybody in. So everybody comes, and we give them a tour, and they're very curious. You know, these kids were from Princeton at a school where they were actually studying geometry, and they were designing a pinball machine in their studies. So it's kind of cool that teachers are incorporating what pinball machines are into a curriculum to teach them mathematics and theory of geometry. And they were there. You go to the next one. They were there, and what we found at that time was all the boys gravitated towards The Hobbit, and all the girls gravitated towards Wizard of Oz. I mean, what a surprise! You know, I kind of knew that, but they all love those games. And you go to another one. You probably in these pictures, you won't see anybody like this. You won't see any kid like this. So they were all, their whole attention span, I had it the whole time they were in the factory. It was really very cool. It was something to see. Go ahead, go to the next one. They at the end of the tour, which was maybe about an hour and a half, they did ask a lot of questions. They all wound up at my office, and I signed a bunch of I signed a bunch of collectibles for each one of them. They all, yep, they all took something home, and some of them might put it into their college fund. I don't know, but it was great. And you know, those kind of groups, that's the future of pinball. You know, I was here earlier, and some of the guys from the club up in Canada, they were talking about, you know, how you have to keep spreading the word of pinball, how you have to keep evangelizing, because that's what we're really doing. You know, you have games at home, your friends come over, that's great. Strangers come over, that might not be so great, but they learn pinball. And they learn about what's going on, and they say, wow, I didn't know I could have a pinball machine at home. Then before you know it, that person has more games than you have. So it's pretty cool how that happens. Okay. I was invited about 2 months ago. Well, there's a lot of retirement communities around our area in central New Jersey, and this is an upscale one. It's called Four Seasons. And some guys from the men's club found our building, and they came in and they invited me. And actually, they came in the door and they said to one of my guys that answered the door, they said, we're looking for a speaker. So they thought, okay, you know, what do you need a speaker for? What's your pinball
Your
machine,
talks
you
a
know?
lot, that's what they ask themselves.
Yeah, so it wasn't a speaker for a game. They're asking for somebody to come to the men's club to speak about pinball machines. So Ken, who we love in the building, who does everything, went and found me.
Does not talk a lot.
Yeah, no. And Ken said, oh, Jack can speak, he just won't shut up, but you know, he can speak. So I went there, and it was really cool, and these guys, most of them are World War II veterans, and the guy playing that game was over 90 years old. It was really great. They had a great time. Pinball was something that probably in a lot of these retirement communities, it would be a good thing to have in the clubhouse because of you know, reflexes and motor skills and interaction, social interaction. So those people out there, opportunists or entrepreneurial people like Todd, you know, figure out maybe you can go to Brookdale and all these places and get them some pinball machines because they loved it. They had a great time. Good. Yeah, and this guy was like 92 years old. And I was happy he was standing, but he was actually playing the game. It's pretty cool. Dialed in. So Dialed in, still going strong. We're selling a lot of them. It's kind of Gabe's theme for the show. Go ahead, keep going. Go ahead, Butch. I'm sorry, Lee.
That was my cue, sorry.
Yeah. So you see in here, Butch talks about changes. You know, when we first had the prototype game, our geniuses, our Einsteins, they named the theater Einstein Theater. And they thought it would be pretty cool, except like this Jewish hospital in New York, which actually owns the name Einstein, which was given it by the family, said, you can't use that unless you pay us like a shit ton of money. And we said, no, that's okay, we'll just call it something different.
Or you send us a bunch of crap signed by Jack, maybe.
They didn't want that. They wanted me to sign some checks. That's what they wanted me to sign. So, you know, if you remember, it was really a great expo. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of people in the room. It was Pat Bowler's return to pinball after many years, and it was really a great experience. A lot of our customers, they were looking at the game. That's a guy named Steve Sabota from California. He's a collector, and that picture is like what everybody was doing at the show. They did that with Pirates, they did that with Wizard of Oz, they did that with Hobbit. They're just looking down and playing the whole game with their eyes. You know, just like falling in love with the game, saying, you know, this is really something I want to own, it's something I want to play, it's something I want to cherish as part of my collection. And that's really what we try to do. Okay. The great Pat Lawler. So it was really good getting Pat out of retirement. His wife has thanked me many, many times for getting him the hell out of the house. And he has really a great focus in his life. He's making games. He's working on his next game, which will be out next year. And if you want to know what it is, it's a
Pinball machine.
Right. That's right. It's a pinball machine. Right. There's Pat with the other Jersey Jack. That's my son Jack, who also works for the company. And that was last May when games first went on the line. Who does Pat look like in that picture, actually? Does he look like the guy with the cell phone on the side of the game? You know? That picture with the square belt buckle and the red shirt and yeah. I don't know, I kind of think that John Yancey took poetic license. Anybody waiting for dialed-in manual? Good. You know, we have them now. They finally came in. I didn't bring any with me because my daughter Jen figured that there would be a whole bunch of fistfights trying to get them. That was back in March. Butch really produced an amazing manual. Took a long time to print because you know, they had to cut the trees down first, and they had to turn them into pulp and make all these.
Make all the inks, because it's in color.
Yeah, but we're going to get them out to everybody. I think we're going to send some to our distributors that sold games, and then we're going to send some direct. So we'll be in touch with everybody in the next week or two and figure out how to do that, get them out to everybody. So thanks for waiting. Everybody that bought an LE game gets one, and everybody bought a CE game gets one. And they'll also be available for sale for anybody else that wants to use one as a doorstop or something like that. You know, so.
Wheel chuck for your.
Yeah, really. This is down in Australia when we had a pirates party a few months ago, and Jack came with me, and they had this guy, Captain Jack kind of guy, and he was drunk for real the whole time. So seriously, you know, like I thought it was an act until like he burped and almost knocked me over. He was pretty funny, and he was very good in character, and all the Aussies really liked the guy. So, and I didn't have to pay him. My distributor, Wayne, paid the guy, and it was a lot of fun.
It's a good time for your joke, you know. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Where do pirates go when they get hurt? Anybody know?
I do.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Arr.
Oh, that's terrible.
I asked people, we were taking a picture at one of these shows, and I said, all right, everybody smile. Say the letter after Q. And the lady says, S. Technically, you're correct.
There are a lot of letters
But
out
I was looking for R. I wasn't looking for S. S. G.
there. It just doesn't have the same thing.
Go ahead, go. This is going to take all night if we do.
You're getting text messages.
I am getting text messages. Okay, just get rid of that. Thank
Don't
you.
touch it because then it'll bring up.
I know. There you go. So that's Wayne, the guy in the dialed-in shirt. Anybody know Wayne, Mr. Pinball Australia? You guys hear about him? Anybody hear about the guy that was going to build Medieval Madness like for years and years and years in Australia? That's the guy. So he's really a great guy. You know, he congratulated me when I started the company because he had control of all the Williams parts. Before Rick had them at Planetary Pinball, Wayne had all those parts. And you know, Wayne figured he would help me out in the beginning when I started Jersey Jack Pinball. So the day that I announced the company, Wayne sent me an email and it said, Jack, if you think I'm going to help you build games, you can go to hell and die. Wayne. That's what he wrote me. Yeah, he's my distributor now. So I kind of forgive and forget. He really didn't mean that. He was getting very emotional. But
He's better at distributing games than other people.
yeah, he's a great guy. He's very good.
His skill is really sales rather than building games.
His skill, yes, he's not a diplomat. So his skill is in selling games. He's not in a diplomatic attaché of anything. Because he would start World War V already. He'd be working on that. You know, so, you know. I don't know, this is just a picture from a show. There's just so many shows I go to. I think this was in Austria a few months ago. People are pinball crazy around the world. It's just growing and growing. And you know, I get asked a question like, where are we in the cycle right now? Are we here? Are we here? Are we up here? Are we going down? Are we... I tell you what, I just think we're still right over here, ready to go up. Because everybody's still finding out about pinball machines. So hopefully, you know, the prices don't keep going up. We don't want to make prices go up. We want to make prices go down, actually. We can figure out how to do that. But I think, you know, we're at the beginning. We're really still at the
Yeah,
beginning.
this has got to be overseas because the men have purses on.
I saw a couple of guys.
Purses, not
I saw a
purses.
couple of guys here with purses, to be honest with you. So
It's a handbag, it's not a purse.
This I think is in Seattle. That's About on the right side from Shorty's, a great bar. He's a great operator. The other guy is a crazy customer. He just loves. He's a great guy. He just loves what we do. This is in Austria. That's one of our distributors, Nigel Hall on the left, and the guy on the right runs a gigantic pinball museum in Europe. So it's just amazing, different cultures, how games transcend, and everybody really has a lot of things in common. This is down at Allentown. I think this was a year ago or 2 years ago. We had a bunch of games. Joe Newhart was a really good distributor for us in Pennsylvania, so that was in his booth.
That guy's not having a good time at all. Not at all.
No, he's having a terrible time. There's Butch and a technician, John Moran, that works for me, who won a pinball tournament. He actually just texted me about something a minute ago, so I'll have to check what he texted about. He knew that I was going to show his picture, I guess.
And I got his little trophy there too.
Yep,
Pretty cool.
yep. Krakow Pinball Museum. What's really cool, I was in Poland, and I was never in Poland before, and you think about a country like Poland, the hell is that place? It's like way out there. And the pinball club, they are such fanatics about playing pinball. I went to this club, and I was almost like, I don't want to say I was held hostage, but I was like held hostage. I didn't have a car, and every sign in the country reads CZSZYZKZSZKY. So I couldn't go anywhere. I didn't know anything. Nobody spoke the language, and I was there for a whole weekend. I had a great time with the guys, and pinball's alive and well in Krakow and in Warsaw. You know, there's a pinball museum there. And they actually send me stuff. You know, they send me chocolate, and they send me hats, and
Somebody's making your hats there, you're gonna have to shut them down.
that's okay. He did it without permission, but he's a friend, so it's okay.
I
So
was
it's
in
all
Germany,
good.
and I was watching off the Autobahn, all those signs say Ausfahrt, Ausfahrt,
Ausfahrt,
Ausfahrt.
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, where is Ausfahrt, and why is it so important?
It's exit, silly. It's
Yeah,
exit.
exactly. How come that out? I learned it.
I thought you were talking about you eating beans or something
No.
like that. That's another one of our distributors in Europe. That's, I think, a show in Austria too. Some of these shows, they actually give me my attire to wear. So this was a show where they made a shirt for me and they said, put this on please, and I put it on and just like gave me something to wear. I can travel the world pretty much without any money, without any clothes almost, and without a place to stay. And people just pay for me and they put me up. It's embarrassing, you know. Last night I was at Mike's house. He put me up. His wife cooked a gigantic steak. This guy Todd shoved it in his mouth. He had one. Frank had one. He couldn't eat fast enough. He swallowed the thing down. It was unbelievable. And he took video of it besides. So I don't know. It's like, we have a good time doing this. Like I said, we're really lucky and blessed. Very, very lucky. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, way in Seattle, get to go
It's
there.
not work, I tell you that, it's not work. If you can get a job working for a pinball company, you know, do it, do it. I don't know, or maybe start your own pinball company, there's not enough of them, you know, so.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
This is Christophe Lienhardt, and he is our distributor in Luxembourg and France, and those are all his games. And he got a Pirates prototype with all 3 spinning discs. And I will have to go to Luxembourg to pry that out of his cold, dead hands to get that game back. That game will never come back. He told me that already. Next. This is at IAPA, and that's actually my dad playing a Hobbit. That's probably a couple of years ago. My dad in that picture was about 90 years old. So yeah. That's the booth at IAPA a few years ago. Maybe that's 2015 or something like that. Yeah.
I like the way the games all look good together. They're all different, but you can tell they're all related.
Yeah, they're all related. We don't make one better than the other. We make them different than each other. So that's what we try to do. We don't try to outdo ourselves. This was in Germany. This is one of the fellows that works, one of our newer distributors, Pinball Universe in Germany. They have an amazing facility, and I look a little fat in that picture. That's before I lost like 12 pounds. So that was a couple months ago. I stopped eating pasta and bread.
Yeah, no more
So,
asphalt.
Yeah, no more asphalt. So, I don't know, summer's coming, I wanted to lose a few pounds. This was a cool picture that was kind of taken by accident. I had an off day when I was in Paris, and I went to the Louvre. Anybody been to the Louvre? Well, yeah, those that didn't go there. It's a really amazing, amazing place. I spent about 8 hours there that day. And I was with one of my French friends, customers, Mehdi Pierre Hadibi, and Mehdi says, put your arms up like the French Prime Minister at the inauguration. And I just put my arms up at random. I moved somewhere, and it looked like there's a W, like a wizard, shooting out of my fingers. So it's kind of cool accidental picture.
I went to the Louvre back when they reopened it with that glass pyramid in the 80s, and that entire area in that picture was one big line. They had it going around like concentric squares. There were that many people standing in line to get in. It was unbelievable.
This day in April, it was 90 degrees. It was just beautiful, beautiful weather in Paris. Everything was blooming. It's a beautiful place. I love it.
Amazing thing that the Mona Lisa picture, you see that all the time, and you think, oh, that must be some gigantic portrait. That thing's about this big, and it's behind 4 foot of glass, and you can't get anywhere close to it. You can't take a picture. You can't.
Yeah, you can take pictures. I have pictures.
Well, in the dark.
It's painted on a piece of wood.
Across the street,
It's painted on a piece of wood. You almost threw the thing away.
Crazy stuff.
Crazy. Yeah. Maybe our games will be in a museum. There's me on Champs-Élysées.
Arc de Triomphe.
L'Arc de Triomphe. Yeah. Oui. A lot of pinball in Paris, Anybody see this picture before?
Yes.
Yeah, a couple of, well, you, Dave, you've seen everything before. So this is a picture of me when I was 14 years old on social media. That's my CB radio. I was very active, all kinds of electronics, always as a kid. I could see the cover of my radio was off, because I probably had my hands in there tinkering with something or other.
What was your handle?
My handle was Jelly Bean. I got my ass kicked a couple of times. Actually, I got on the air during Easter time, and the girl across the street, she picked my handle Jelly Bean. And it was good that I was on the track team, because nobody could catch me to kick my ass. So, it was a good experience for me. There I am in one of my electronics classes doing something, I have no clue, playing with some kind of signal generator or something like that. I wound up, the highest I got, I didn't become an engineer. The highest I did was I got my second class FCC license. So I had to learn a lot of electronic theory, and I had to learn all about the FCC, and I had a thought of maybe working at a radio or TV station, but instead I took a detour and started fixing pinball machines, which wasn't a bad detour. So this is the guy responsible for me being in the industry. His name is Heinz Magdalinski. That was at his 70th birthday party in 1996, and he was German. He got blown out of a U-boat during the war, and the first day that I went to work for his company, he drove over the Brooklyn Bridge and looked down at the Brooklyn Navy Yard, and he said, if we would have won the war, I would have been an admiral by now. So it was kind of interesting. We had an interesting relationship, and unfortunately, 6 months after this picture, he had a heart attack and died. But he taught me a lot of things that I still use today. We used to go fixing electromechanical games. We had games in all these colleges. And you go fix a game in like 2 minutes, and then it's missing a bunch of screws. And he would go take the game and turn it, pull it over like this and kick the bottom, and all these screws would come all the way over. And he would take every screw and he'd put it back in the game where it belonged. And I'm like, this old son of a guy, like, let's get out of here. What are you doing? Like, come on, I want to get out of here. No. If the manufacturer meant for one less screw to be in the game, it would be there. Well, every screw has a place, and you must find it and put it back. Wow. Well, that definitely stayed with me, So he's smiling down on us and probably laughing, and it was good. It was really good training.
Especially seeing that 70s porno mustache on you. He's probably laughing.
Yeah, well, it gets better, but.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there I am, that's probably 1977, 76, no, it's probably 1975. I'm wearing one of the famous sweaters that my mother knitted for me. And I remember where that was. It was CW Post College. And,
It's gonna be 77 because Carter was working.
okay, and there you go, you rat face. He's always got to correct everything, this guy, you know. It's poetic license. Thank you, Dave, I love you. You're the best.
Tell them that.
You know, I first said it was 1977, and then I backed up to 75, so I was right. I was right. I had to go with my first
You
intuition.
didn't go to college, but you worked in a lot of colleges, right?
I went to Columbia University, I went to CW Post, I went to New York Tech, I went to Brooklyn Law School, went to Brooklyn College, St. Francis. I went to every one of them. I didn't get a degree. Listen, neither did Bill Gates. It didn't hurt either one of us, but he got a couple bucks more than me. So I made a mistake here in this picture. I should have actually posed with the Bigfoot game instead of posing with the Lost World. And I don't think anybody knows where any. Dave, since you're the resident expert,
How many were made, Dave?
how many were made, Dave, and where are they right now? Yeah,
Two, right?
2. Dos y dos, right. Any still exist? Nobody knows.
There's
Nobody
footage
knows.
of Bigfoot, but yeah.
Right. Well, Dennis Norton is not included.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, this was at Replay FX a few years ago, and I found the Lost World, and that game looked the same, and I didn't look the same. So I took a picture with it.
Paul
Oh,
Ferris
wow.
is here,
Yes, where is he?
in the show somewhere.
Oh, he's not here.
That's-
Okay.
that's
Well, there you go. So there's typical Brooklyn, and that was in March of 1977, before John Travolta wore that outfit in Saturday Night Fever.
I
So
just copied you.
I just want to go on record that he ripped me off.
Yeah. Could you dance like him?
No, I can't dance at all. No.
That's disco.
Yeah, what was the car? Anybody know what the car was?
Mustang?
Yeah, that was a Datsun.
So he puts his arm up like this, and that's the disco fever back
Yeah, well,
right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. Pretty much. I was about 110 pounds. So, you know, I was thinking of pirate games way back then. This is New Year's Eve, 1977, and, you know, I knew I would do a pirate game. Arr, you know, Captain Kidd. Anybody have that? Who made that game, Dave?
Dave?
Is that Playmatic, I think? You-
Sagasa, Sonic, Playmatic, maybe
I think
Playmatic. I think Playmatic, maybe, yeah. Very obscure company.
So
but,
obscure we can't even say he's wrong.
But something was made. Something was made just like that. What game was made just like that, Dave? With the same artwork.
Oh.
Ship Ahoy.
Ship Ahoy, right? Give him like something. I don't know what. But, yeah. Okay, get out of this picture.
Jack's
Go.
coffee.
That's when I didn't have a problem losing a couple of pounds. I couldn't gain any weight. I think I weighed 110 pounds in that picture. I might still have those pants. This is an IAPA show. We'll be done with the home movie part of this soon. This is an IAPA show in 1990 in Washington, D.C. And the people standing there, they had a big amusement center, big arcades in Coney Island. Wally and Dinah Roberts. Did you know them? Did you know them, Mike? Brooklyn? No. Todd, did you know them at all? No?
Dave, did you know that?
Oh, they were there forever. Dave didn't know them.
Everybody.
I guarantee that. No, they were institutions. They're both long gone. Go ahead, keep going. We used to open our factory during the summer to have these barbecues and tours and everything, and it was a wonderful thing, but we don't have any dates to really do it anymore, and we can't get everybody together to do it, and it's difficult, and we get asked all the time if we're going to do it. I'd love to do it, but you know, with all the shows and traveling, we just can't get it together. But maybe one of these days again. The guy on the left is Ryan C. from Australia. The guy in the middle is a crazy customer from Westchester, Charles Thomas. And the guy on the right is one of our employees, a great employee, Dave, works on the assembly line. Again, we get a lot of people, media people like you, come and visit us and bother us and ask us all kinds of questions that we answer happily. Or we make stuff up, you know, at least we get them out of the building at some point.
And we
So.
sign some crap and send you away.
Yeah, exactly. Next. That's those guys that I had, I think, last year. Keep going. Again, you know, people come, they do little blog stories, they do all kinds of things. This lady, the retirement community that I went to, they actually have a TV channel where they do all kinds of news stories and feature stories, and she came over to find out about how a pinball machine was made. And they spent like 5 hours there, and their show was like 5 minutes long. So there was a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor.
But Dave has been there a long time, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, and these were the two gentlemen that came originally to scope out the place. You know, they're two Purple Heart World War II veterans. So nice to see those guys interested in pinball, for sure. Adam's not here, but this is Adam's charity that he runs, right, Mike? The 200 Foundation. He's a sponsor of this show. He's a really great guy, and he's streaming live Pirates of the Caribbean, I believe, right? So we get involved with a lot of different charitable causes, and we pretty much don't say no to anybody. But Adam is a really great guy, and he does a lot for a lot of different charities, and he takes one of his major loves, which is pinball, and he makes it translate to raising money for a charitable
He's a
foundation.
sponsor of this seminar program.
And he is the sponsor of the seminar program. This just in. So we thank him for that as well. Those are, that's my son Jack and my daughter Jen. Without them, a lot of things don't run. So I'm very grateful that they're both involved in the company. That's a shot of my dad from a couple of years ago. He's still with us, thank God, 92 years old, and he even gets to play pinball when he can. He's down in Florida, so he's doing well.
Yeah, Jack, you've been married how long this summer?
35 years.
Me too, 35 years. We both have dads that are
Yeah,
90 plus years old.
Yeah,
and
we're very lucky, that's true.
Yep.
That's true. And we have wives that'll probably be saint, you know, dealing with both of us.
Yep.
That's a picture of my granddaughter, Olivia. That's Jen's daughter. And there's no time like really early starting them on pinball. She can't reach around the cabinet, but she laughs hysterically as the game is played. And Jen sent me a picture the other day. She was under the cabinet turning the switch on to play the game. So there's no hope. There's no hope that she's not going to play pinball. And Jen is expecting another little baby. We're going to have a grandson the end of the year. So it'll be another kid running around soon trying to play.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's really great. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to throw this in because this is my next business. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. On the road to Hana, anybody been to Hawaii? So this is on the road to Hana. You know, I had to stop and take a picture of it. It's my next business. It's a very simple business. It's a coconut stand. My inventory is on the right side. It grows on the trees. In the middle is my work area with a machete, and on the left side is my waste product. And when I run out of coconuts, I'm done for the day. So one day, maybe I'll be over there playing with coconuts.
Should have got out in front and put your hands up. To make it.
Yeah, I know. There's a rainbow there somewhere. And that's about it. That's about enough of me. If anybody has any questions, that would be good. We're going to give, I don't know how I'm going to do that, but maybe the people that ask questions will get one of those free gifts. Maybe we'll do it that way. We'll mess you all up, so you'll actually have to ask a couple of questions. Anybody have a question? Yes.
One of the things I've noticed about your games is that they're all very clean in the sense that I would not have any problem if I don't have grandchildren yet, but if I had grandchildren, I would not have any problems having them play those games. If I have parents who come here, I've noticed over the years, the parents and their kids gravitate to your games because they're all so clean. Was that a conscious decision to build the hobby, to make sure that the games you were producing were like PG or below so that people could have their kids play them and, you know, not have to worry about any other?
Yeah, it was. I mean, you know, in all my businesses, they're all family related. I mean, my other service company does service at a huge amusement center in central New Jersey, I Play America, and it's family related. You know, I know that guns and violence and sex and all of that stuff, drugs, they sell and they get used as promotional things, and I could pick themes that really glorify a lot of that stuff. We're not going to do it. You know, when Playboy came out years ago, and I was Stern's biggest distributor, we actually put the game on the website, and I was at the show. You know, there was no Facebook and there was no Twitter or anything like that. And I put it up on the I put it up on our website, and I was still in Las Vegas. And my wife called me and she said, "Hey, you know, I see you got the Playboy game up there, and yeah." She says, "Do we need the money that bad? Do we need to sell that game?" I said, "What do you mean?" You know, so she explained it to me, and I took it off the website. And I didn't sell it. You know, she said, "You're Grand Knight in Knights of Columbus. You're a Eucharistic minister. You're a lector. You're on the board of directors of the church and the finance committee and everything. Maybe that exploits women, and maybe that's not exactly the product for you to sell right now. And we don't really need the money that bad. So why don't you take that off the website?" So, you know, to make conscious decisions like that, you know, I didn't think I'd get into an answer like this, but it's the truth. You know, everybody in every kind of company has to decide what they want to do, what they want to be, what they want to make money on, how desperate they want to be to make money, and what it is. And I can tell you that, you know, we'll probably do a music game. Okay, there I said it. You know, somewhere in the future, I want to do a music game. You know, rock and roll bands and things like that. You know, some of them are, you know, more wholesome than others, but I think most of them are in good fun. So, you know, I don't get offended if Metallica has a cross in there because I'm Catholic. I don't take offense to that because they think it's just some kind of like design feature of the game. But to me, it means something different. So I think today in this country especially, we've come to the point of a lot of sensitivity about what we do, what we say, who we keep as friends,
Hyper.
and where we go. Yeah, it's not all bad. Some of it is too much and some of it is too little. And, you know, we all make our own choices. I think the long professorial answer to that is that, you know, as long as I'm picking the themes and the ideas that the company does, we want to run a family show. That's what we want to run. So our customers respond to that, and we're happy about it. So give that guy something.
A lovely poster. How about that? Have the guy next to you sign it over there. He's the one who drew it.
Yeah. How can we get that over to him? Dave, you're not doing anything.
No,
so-
get out of there.
Hey, Jack,
Yes.
is there any truth to
Todd Tuckey, everybody. Todd is writing 10 books. 10 books on what the hell's with the microphone? It works like somebody's pinball machine's inside. What are you doing? What?
Right, see, that's
You know who you need? You need Paul Young. What's that guy's name? Not Paul Young.
Fred.
Fred Young.
Oh,
You know, the guy from
No, we don't.
that crazy guy from Pinball Expo. If you find him in the hallway, run the other way. Yes, Todd. So Todd's writing. This guy is writing. He can't even read. I can't believe he's writing. He's writing 10 books on pinball. Right? Is that right?
That's the plan. The first book comes out September 1st. Where's it?
Can I get a book? Can I buy a book? Can you inscribe a book for me? Thank you. Appreciate that. You had a question?
Well, yeah, the rumor has it that the first musical, Zena does it for me too. The first musical, could be the battery's going bad. First musical pinball you're going to do is on the Bay City Rollers. Is that true?
How did you find that? No, it's not. No, it's not. They did do one good song Saturday night. Saturday night.
Village people.
Yeah, Village People. Yeah. I like that. You know, I would say that the Yankees ground crew between, but you know, I would mention that I'm a Yankee fan in this territory. So yes. You put your hand up? Yeah, you. Yeah. What's your name?
Jared.
Jared. Okay. Wait, hang on a minute. Oh.
All right, two-part question. So you make an amazing game, like Dialed In, a non-licensed game. You flip to something that's been made before, like Pirates. How does that process take place? Who's involved in those decisions? You're sitting around a table, you've got ideas on the line. Like, how does that
you know, I don't want to say it comes from me, but you know, it's a discussion. And, you know, I knew I wanted to do pirates again, you know, because I sold, pinballsales.com, we sold about 700 pirate games. When Dennis Nordman designed that game, and we showed it on the Pinball Sales website on July 14th, 2006. We sold 100 games that day, without eBay, without, you know, anything. We sold like 100 games that day. And women, girls especially, love the theme and Johnny Depp and everything. And I said, you know, if I could get that with 5 movies, and that would be really cool. And you know, we went into the Disney pool and we got that game. So, you know, doing it, it was a lot of fun. I think Eric, as a brand new designer, as Butch was talking about during the deep dive, you know, here's somebody that grew up in the industry. He had a lot of ideas all his life, young life, about how to design something or what he wanted in it. And we just let him loose. We actually told him, make a standard size game without an upper playfield. And he made a wide body game with an upper playfield. So this is how people actually listen to us, you know, about what they're doing. But some of it's encouraged, you know, I mean, we want them. I don't ever want to build fences around people, right, because you get sheep. I want to have people that want to do more and want to, you know, take their passion and turn it into something great. So yeah, so you know, we have the next 3 games we're working on right now. We have ideas and licenses for like another 3 after that. So 6 games in the history of the company. We'll start spitting them out a little faster, but we're not going to compromise quality, and we're not going to compromise depth of the game. We're probably not going to turn out a game every 6 months and, you know, use, reuse, and overuse the same thing over and over again. It's a difficult process, but we're getting better at it. We really are. So, you know. All right, he's got to get. What the hell?
Right up
That's a
there.
good question.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
Are there any code updates that you're particularly excited about?
Well, I am excited about the Hobbit code update. You know, I think it's a long time coming, but again, you know, Ted, Keith, the guys, you know, Joe Katz and JT, they put a lot into it. You know, they could just put out something and say, here's your code update and good luck with it. But the game is, these games are so deep. You know, Butch talks about it. The only way to play some of these games and see all the stuff that they can do is like with the glass off. You know, who's going to get to them? You know, so we don't want them to be frustrating for first-time players, but we want them to be really deep for people to get in them. And I'm sure there'll be another code update for Dialed In as well. There's some animation and some other things we need to touch up and finish. But Pirates will ship code complete also. Doesn't mean there won't be a code update at some point or other. But I want to ship real games. You know, we shipped Wizard of Oz with a box of lights. You know, it was like, wow, look at that. We could actually make the ball go around. And it scored. It's great. You know, but yeah, I mean, Wizard of Oz, who knows? Those crazy guys might come up with an update for Wizard of Oz yet. I hope not. I hope they're working on other stuff.
You want to hand this up?
Give him something.
Did we have a question down here?
Wait,
You want to hand this up?
yeah, I got him right here.
Sorry, my English is not very good.
So is mine.
Do
He
you
said his English is not good.
do you have a game you want to make, but the license is too much expensive?
Do I have a game that I want to make, but it is too much expensive? You know, everybody wants me to make Harry Potter. I always get that question everywhere in the world. You know, if we can get the license, we'll make it. We don't really care if it's expensive. If it makes, you know, if it's a great game. Wizard of Oz was not a cheap license. Hobbit was not a cheap license. It wasn't cheap to make Dialed In as an original theme. It cost more to make Dialed In than a licensed theme because you could just do so much more. So
Too much is also relative, so too much
Yeah.
expensive is.
too much expensive.
We could ask 20 people in here and get 20
Yeah.
different answers, so it's
Yeah,
too much
but
expensive.
you know, that doesn't scare us. You know, Pinball Company is, you're really trying to put it all out there and put everything into the game, you know, so, you know, a lot of times in the beginning of what we're doing, nobody's thinking about money, unfortunately. You know, they're just thinking about what the game is gonna be. Then, at the end, our financial people go, well, now you gotta think about money. So, you know, it's crazy.
Here you go, another picture.
Yeah. Yeah, who else down here, somebody? Yes.
How many themes or ideas of games do you have before you narrow down to three or so that you're talking about?
You know, listen, here's what happens. Every single day, customers call me, email me, and text me and say, you know what would be a great game? This would be a great game. Why don't you make this game? You know, and there are ideas coming in like all the time. Like if you're standing next to a beehive and the bees are just stinging you like every minute. There are people that you know, give me ideas that I always respectfully say thank you and I listen. And some of them, you know, they're not good. You know, some of them are good but can't be done. You know, so everybody, you know, it's like that line in that old movie, Officer and a Gentleman. You know, everybody wants to fly jets. My grandmother wants to fly jets. Everybody wants to come up with an idea for a design of a pinball machine. But there are a lot of great pinball machines that haven't been designed yet. And hopefully we'll do a few of them. You know, so yeah.
So besides that, how many do you have in your company that you're thinking of without all the ideas of people coming?
You know, I think what people think about ideas for pinball machines all the time. I don't think it ever stops. They could be working on a title and they're designing something and something happens and, you know, a movie comes out or a sequel comes out or a show comes on or a song plays or somebody has an idea for something from years ago or the future and people say, gee, could we make a pinball machine out of that? You know, there are ideas that come to me where a licensor calls up and said, you know, I have a license. I tell you a true one, okay? Everybody knows who Bob Ross is, the guy that paints. Okay. So if somebody makes this game, you know, like just kick me a couple of times, all right? They called me relentlessly, asking me if we would make a Bob Ross pinball machine. Okay. I don't know. You know, I mean, to me personally, a pinball machine is like good versus evil. You know, some kind of story, some kind of something that we can work around it. You know, The Wizard of Oz lends itself to that. The Hobbit lends itself to that. Dial In lends itself to that. You know, Pirates of the Caribbean lends itself to that. I love Bob Ross. If I was making a Chia Pet, I got it. No, but I'm making a pinball machine. I can't imagine, you know, I said to the lady, I called her back after 30 calls, and I said, you know, I love Bob Ross. Oh, then you'll make the game? No, I'm not going to make the game. You know, she said it would be great. I said, I wouldn't even know how to begin. You know, I begin with a blank, begin with white on the back glass, and then we got to go hit something and get blue, and then get the size brush, and then we have to do, maybe we could figure this out.
Let's have a brainstorm session.
Maybe we could figure, maybe I should call her back. Maybe you gotta go get a brush, and then you made a mistake, and now you gotta cover it with a happy little tree. Right? And maybe it could be a pinball machine. You know, listen, if Spooky makes this in 2 years, I just want to know that we've discussed it here first, you know?
Yeah, maybe it's time to bring back the design a game seminar.
Design a game seminar, there you go, that's a good. I think everybody, you know, it's like a book. If Todd could write a book, everybody could write a book. And no disrespect, everybody probably has a good book in them. Probably everybody could design a pinball machine. It may not be, you might not even buy it yourself after you designed it. But everybody could design a pinball machine, why not? We all play them, we know what's great that goes into them, we know what we like in them, we know what we don't like in them. Why not? You know, wouldn't be a bad thing. All right, give that man something. Yes?
The low scoring threshold that you have on your games, that's a conscious decision?
Yes. Yeah, you know, I got tired of looking at games where you shoot the ball and you get like 1 billion points. It's like that scene in Meet the Fockers, you know, where Gaylord Fokker got a trophy for 9th place. You know, like, if you really want extra digits, get an index card and put 3 zeros at the back of it, and you'll feel better that you scored more. You know, on my Buckaroo at home, when I get 1,000 points, the light lights up, and like I played my guts out to make that happen. So I wanted the game to have low scoring achievement, you know, to feel like actually did something, and you earned the score. So that was the idea
And then
behind
the
it.
far right digit is just a dummy drum that doesn't move, that has a 0 on it.
Yeah, there you
3 or 4
go.
more.
Maybe we can use that on the Bob Ross game.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Dummy digit.
that would be the skill shot. Yeah, that's good. All right, give them something. We're almost out of stuff. Yes?
Have you ever considered like trying to connect games via Wi-Fi?
Yes. I have. Yeah, I have. But, yeah, you might see that in the not so distant future. I think that's pretty cool. The only thing about playing online tournaments and stuff like that is, I don't know if you have the glass on the game. It's kind of strange. It would be fun, but to me, pinball is always a social thing where people are together. I really like to see 4 people playing a game, rather than one person in Nairobi playing against somebody else in Switzerland, something like that.
Yeah, how can being in the basement of your mom's house on the computer be social? I just don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't know.
It's much more fun to
Why are
stand
you in
next
the
to
basement
somebody.
of your mom's house?
What's that?
What are you doing in the basement of your mom's house? How old are you at this point?
You don't want to. They said I have a mustache.
So do you plan on creating an interactive pinball machine that everybody can play with each other across the country then? Would you need that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a place for that. I don't know if, I don't know. You gotta think about how that's done. I don't know. Technology's there now to do it. But again, it's I don't know. Gotta think about it a little bit. That's his guy with the blue shirt. I know who that is. I forgot his name.
It's hard to remember all the
Yes.
I came in late, I apologize.
You came in late. Did you get any pizza? There's some nice cold pizza here. Yeah, sure. Have a slice.
Dialed in was your first non-licensed type way, and it's done very well. Any ideas for any more unlicensed?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me to see another unlicensed game from us, in the next, in the next few years. One of the things I say is never say never. I think you have to say that if you start a pinball company. So I wouldn't rule it out, but I can tell you that the next 3 games at least are licensed. So it could be the 4th one or 5th one after that, possibly. Some of the people have some pretty good ideas for some original theme games. And look, we talked about Dialed In a lot in the past. I knew it would take a really long time for it to catch on, because whatever we called the game, people would hate the name. And I remember seeing Donkey Kong at a show years ago and said, wow, what a stupid name. And then I played the game and I loved it. And I saw Pac-Man and I said, what the hell is that? And I played it and I loved it. So, these things have to grow on you. About a week into Dialed In with the name, welcome. There's pizza there if you want, You're here for the guy next after me? Yes, Barry. So, hang on, Barry. I'll get to you now. This guy, I think he's looking for $10 from me for something. I don't know what it is. But we'll find out. It took a little time. It took a long time to sell, like the first 1,000 games. It took about 7 months, where right now we have more than 1,000 games worth of orders for Pirates of the Caribbean. You hear, Pirates of the Caribbean? Okay, I want that game. Great. Yeah, Dialed In. You're like, what the hell is that? Nobody even dials anything anymore. What is that game? Where'd they come up with that stupid name? Dial Out, Last Call, Dialed In. It's about a guy with a cell phone. Do I destroy the city, Jack, or do I save the city? Yes, exactly. That's what you do. All right, give that guy some. You need me?
Yeah, I just want to say, I would like to see this industry, I'd like to maybe someday develop technology where the price of a pinball can be brought down several thousand.
Right.
And still have good quality.
Right. You see that table with the pizza there? Get a ball, and you can roll it on there. It would be just as much fun. The problem is that you got that, didn't you? The problem is really, it's really difficult to make a game that's a fun game today, because that's why there's used games. There's a lot of great used games out there for probably more than they're worth, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. At this show, we had a customer looking for an Adams family, to buy an Adams family. There were 3 here, and none of them were for sale. So I agree with you. I wish, we could do it somehow. It's not that we're not thinking about it, but it's difficult.
Several years ago, there was somebody that had a machine that was for sale.
Online?
Yeah. They wanted $4,000 for it.
$4,000. Yeah. It's probably broken. Maybe it was stolen. Well, you should have bought it. The next time you see one of my games for $4,000, call me, because I've never seen one. One fell off a truck, it was $6,000. I mean, it fell off, it was broken, it wasn't stolen Brooklyn style. Give him something, tell him to shut up. I mean, just give him something.
I think you covered that one.
All right. The gentleman in the back with the blue and white striped shirt, and I'll get to the next guy that has the earpiece in his ear, talking to Rome right now. Yes.
I got a question.
Yes.
I'm a first-time purchaser. First-time pinball ever bought.
Really? What'd you buy?
I bought the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, great choice.
Well, I was searching for an epic for a toy one. I had no idea what was happening with this resurgence at the company. I fell in love with the nostalgia of the magic of the Wizard of Oz.
I gotta give you the
I fell in love with the nostalgia of the Wizard of Oz. Everyone knows that tale. I'm 50 years old. I got a 14-month-old boy. I want to gift him that one day. Do you plan to hold on to produce those nostalgia type of themes, those nostalgia type of, you know, those are the ones that motivate me. And to know the price of a machine, I had no idea. It was very hard. And then I realized the magic, and I took it. What's your name? Alex. Alex, pleasure to meet you. I went to the factory before I made the purchase, and it was just that. Your daughter was there, I remember her. And I traveled from Long Island to New York, and I see the magic, and I committed to purchase future if there is that nostalgia.
Sign this guy up and take his money, will you? Well, thank you. You know, this never gets old, and again, you know, just to say it's a blessing and it's wonderful to hear that, I don't take that for granted. I really appreciate that. It's very humbling on behalf of the whole company that puts all their heart and soul into making these products, you know. And yeah, you know, they're going to be products that, you know, last generations. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, we're still fixing some pinball machines made in, you know, the 30s and 40s, and Dave was around then as a little kid when they were brand new, and he was playing them.
He can tell you how many were made and all that.
Yeah, he was at the factory making them. So, you know, absolutely come back to the factory. What theme game would you like to see? Let me ask a question. And Butch, you don't have to give me anything for it.
I mean, again, this is all new to me, but I'm reading and I'm learning, and all these people, this is my first show too, this is my first show.
Oh.
I hear rumors, and to me...
I hear things.
Willy Wonka.
Next question.
Toy Story.
Take that back from him.
Dialed in. Okay, well, that's good. Those would be great titles for pinball machines, wouldn't they? It would be amazing. Imagine those games as pinball machines. Wow.
When we first started with the Wizard of Oz, there was a guy that came to a lot of the shows, and he'd bring his young kid with him, and he'd have the young kid ask the questions, and Jack couldn't not answer.
I know.
Are you going to do a new topper for the Wizard of Oz?
So this was Vince Minnick and his kid. Vince Minnick, and his kid was really little then.
Yeah.
His kid now is bigger than me.
Hey, graduated high school, I think.
Yeah.
Holy cow. How'd that happen?
He's a big kid. And you know, he actually asked me at an expo with everybody there, he said, "What's in the crystal ball jersey, Jack?" And I said, "Oh, it's a kid, I can't lie." I said, "Well, there's LED lighting in the crystal ball, so, you know, it turned out to be the monitor." And I didn't lie, there was, you know, something in there. I didn't want to, you know, I like to keep a little bit of a secret, because then it's kind of fun, you know, to surprise people. Yes?
Yeah, I've worked in arcade, played around with arcade games for a while, and I'm trying to get into pinball. What are some good skills to learn when you're talking about getting setups and all that kind of stuff?
Well, gee, you know, first of all, the first thing you got to learn is how to pull the plunger back. Oh, on the inside. You know, there's a lot of expert players. I'm a pretty good player, but I don't put a lot of time into it. I like to kick the crap out of the game and tilt it and everything like that. I play Brooklyn style, you know, I kick it like that after I lose the ball. My games are all wrecked, you know, so I wouldn't do any of that stuff. But, you know, post passing, catching ball, you know, learning the rules of the game is really important. Were you here earlier?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, the rules of the play, and talking about getting it to work, the electronics one.
Oh.
I'm more interested in the bits and parts. I'm kind of a hardware guy.
There's plenty of those in the
Very
game.
cool.
That's kind of why I started with the Bits and parts and trees.
Modular, very modular.
Yep.
Yeah, I like stuff that's like that.
Buy one of his coffee
You know, the way to
table
get
mans.
into it, I would say this: buy a game, you know, and restore it. Well, no, I wouldn't do that. I would buy something you like, you know, and restore it and learn about it. You know, take it all apart, not at the same time, and put it all back together,
Take lots of
rebuild it.
pictures.
Or get a game that has a really bad playfield in it, and buy like a new playfield, and learn how to take everything off one playfield and put it on another, and wire it, and what all the parts actually do. Why do they do that? Take, you know, kind of a simple game, even if it's an electromechanical game.
Try to make it look as good as it can and try and make it work as best it can.
Yeah, I think everybody pretty much started tinkering with games. You know, nobody was like plopped and said, "Oh, here's a pinball technician that knows everything." You know, we all make mistakes and we all try things and we learn. But now there's a lot of resources because now you have YouTube. There's a lot of instructional places. There are a lot of news groups and stuff like that. There are a lot of pinball clubs and that kind of thing. So I would join the pinball club. Where do you live?
I live in
Connecticut.
Sanctum.
That's great. So, go over there to Automated, to Mike's place. Mike's got a ton of crap in his building. I mean, he's got a ton of great games in his building. They need to be restored. Okay? Go over there. You can work for him. Okay? He'll pay you. Maybe you'll figure out how to do something with all his people. You can work on some of his games. He'll put you in a room with some of the games, and you'll learn how to fix games. You might be better than some of the people that started years ago. You never know. If you like doing it, you're going to be really good at it. Maybe something like that. But join the pinball club, because then there'll be other people that'll be a support group for you to learn. That would be the way to do it, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. Give him something.
I got some.
You have anything else?
Hey, I was going to tell you, one of the first things I did, I bought a pinball machine for my sister, and I brought it up in my old Delta 88, which you could fit an entire pinball cabinet without the head in the back seat of a Delta 88. Close both doors, no problem.
What year was that made?
Yeah, that's the 70s car. But so I put the back box in the trunk, and I put the back box all wrapped up under the Christmas tree. And then my haste to get it working, I didn't know much about pinball at the time. I just knew I loved it. My sister loved it, and I wanted to get her a game. I got those two connectors backwards in the Williams back box, the black with the white with the black, and turned it on. We're gonna play pinball. I fried every chip on there except the ROMs. And
It's a good way to learn.
yeah, it's a very good way to learn. I learned a lot about circuit board repair, fixing that game and getting it working. So you're gonna make mistakes.
You're better off learning from somebody else's mistake, like Butch's.
Yeah.
Don't do that stuff.
The most important thing to remember is that soon after you become a pinball owner, you will become a pinball repairman.
Exactly.
There's just no other way.
Exactly.
That's the way it works.
Exactly. Who has the red Mustang outside? Anybody? Because we wanted to try to figure out if the pinball machine will fit in there. We were going to stick, pirates in there or something like that, and see if you can move a pinball machine with that car. So nobody's here with that car. Well, if you see us shove the pinball machine in this guy's car, whoever he is, then you'll find out if it fits in there. We're going to put it on his roof, but he didn't have a roof. No.
So do we have any little kids who want to ask about the future plans of the company?
You will get an honest answer.
Do we have any little kids that want to ask about anything at all? Yes. Here's a little kid.
One question for you. When you started Wizard of Oz, you said you're going to make it at the end of this year. Once you're done with Wizard of Oz, how long you are going to make parts for it? Up to 5 years, and then you're going to get all done. What's on the left is left. Then we have to scramble to get to find parts, or is it something where after like 10 years you might do a run of like wire forms or trees or crystal balls, somewhere people might be able to get something like CPR. They make new play fields for people that want to do like an old rover or a cyclone. I'm just curious where you might be in reference to that. If a guy happens to buy a Wizard of Oz 10 years from now, will there be able to be parts, or once it's done, it's done?
You know what I say part of that? First of all, I renewed that license for another 5 years. So, if it's the 100th anniversary of Wizard of Oz, and we're still making Wizard of Oz, it's okay with me. The answer to that is, if you need to buy something, when I used to buy my new games, I used to buy a playfield, a decal set, and a plastic set, and just tuck them away, because the manufacturer probably won't have them in a few years. So my simple answer would be, if you think you need spare parts for anything you buy, pinball or not, buy them when they're available. Don't bet that somebody will have them 5 years from now. You may have them. Miracle makes all playfields. So if Miracle's in business 10 years from now and there's a need to make Wizard of Oz playfields, I'm sure he'll make them. He's making Taxi playfields, he's making Tales of the Arabian Nights, he's making Addams Family. He's making Addams Family playfields now, and they're games from 1992. So, I think the resource of the pinball community now is that somebody somewhere will figure out how to make something to keep all of this stuff alive for a really, really long time. Long after I'm gone.
And we're making improvements too,
Figure it out.
The new board set that we sell you for the Wizard of Oz is better than the original. Much
Yeah,
better, much
sure.
better design. It's an upgrade.
All right, you don't get nothing, you're a distributor. Oh, you'll get something. Give me one of those.
No, I'm good. You give it to somebody else also.
Look at that, he's a true gentleman. Eric, what do you want? You're asking a question?
He's daring.
Or you're asking when I'm done, so you can go
No, I've
dinner?
got a question.
Yes.
So we've seen,
You want the microphone?
yeah, sure.
When his mic doesn't work for him, that would be like irony, right? He can toss it up one.
So we've seen some recent companies like Dutch Pinball and especially Highway Pinball have financial troubles, and they you face similar scenario as Highway Pinball and Dutch Pinball. Why do you think you succeeded where others failed?
Well, that's a good loaded question. First of all, I will tell you, I give all the thanks to God. I have a really amazing, lucky, wonderful faith in God. So I never gave up. I give the credit to my family, who supported me and stayed with me and encouraged me, and really good friends like Mike, who believed in me, other distributors that believed in me and what we were doing, people that worked for the company that didn't give up. I do believe if you don't give up, you can't fail. The likelihood of failing is a lot less if you don't give up. Sometimes you have to give up because all effort, all hope is gone. Look, I was in the business at the time, about 38 years, something like that, 37 years, whatever it was, and I've done a lot of different things in the industry as a distributor, manufacturer, operator, technician, all these different things. And yet with all the people, all my connections, and all of my knowledge, and all of everything, it's impossibly difficult to do what we did at the level we were doing it. And it's a difficult road. And there were some people that probably looked at me and said, if that idiot could do it, I could do it too. But they were probably wrong. They weren't me. And I wouldn't give up. So I do think whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. There was a time I went from 175 pounds to 147 pounds, and I wasn't trying to be on a diet. There was a lot of stress and a lot of difficulty. But again, I feel great now. We're on the right path, and we're into this now 7 years. All the people, all the customers that gave us money and believed in us and trusted in us, and all that, I'm really thankful to all those people because they built the company. It was definitely not me by myself. There was a lot of people involved in it, and I'm very humbled and very thankful for it. And I've been told that because of what we did, it brought a lot of other people into the industry. It brought people in that make mods and all kinds of different things, and it brought people to the shows, and it brought a lot more competition, a lot more awareness about it, and that's all good. I'm happy because it was a group effort. It was everybody. It just wasn't me. So yeah, I guess that's the answer. I guess. Thanks. Well, thank all of you. I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, we got one or two more, and okay. What's he getting? You got something for him, Butch?
He's He's got all this stuff going, he's shaking his head.
At what point in your life did you decide that you wanted to start a pinball company? What was your inspiration?
So I've said this story before. You know, I was Stern's biggest distributor for a lot of years. I love Stern Pinball. Gary Stern and I were good friends. My idea was not to put Stern Pinball out of business. My idea was to make great games. We went from selling about 1,500 Stern Pinball machines a year, and Mike was a competitor. And we worked together. We didn't work against each other. We worked together. We sold each other games. If I was out at Sopranos, he sold me one at a really high price, and then you know, he always helped me out, and I always helped him out. We were always good friends. You know, and we went from selling about 1,500 games a year, and in 2009 and 10, we sold about 47 games in a year. You know, and you know, in a respectful way, I'm going to say what people have said. You know, they didn't want to buy, you know, NBA, or they didn't want to buy Buck Hunter, or they didn't want to buy those games. And I told Stern, listen, make better games. You know, you got to make better games. You know, we sell everything nobody needs. It's not related to the recession. Nobody sold me one game back during the whole recession, 2008, 9, 10, 11. Nobody called me up and said, oh shit, I'm not going to make my mortgage payment. Can you buy all the games back? Never happened. Never happened. So I said, you know, 2010, I spent some time thinking about it. And there were a lot of people in pinball that were out of work. And a lot of people encouraging me to do this because they wanted a job. And, you know, the first person you have to convince is yourself. You have to sell yourself when you're an entrepreneur that the idea makes sense. And what happens with entrepreneurial people is that we're not realistic. We oversimplify things. You know, we say, you know what, I can leap right through that glass window, and as soon as I get through it, I'll figure out how to fly. And you didn't realize that when you leap through the window, you get a little bloody and you might bleed to death. You know, so it's a work in progress. You know, it was, so that's kind of what made me decide that. My decision was either I stop selling brand new pinball machines, or I start a company that manufactures and designs and manufactures brand new pinball machines. So I joke and I say I did the easier of the two. That's what I did. I appreciate that. I'm glad you guys supported, and girls supported the company and the idea that we were going to do it, because if people didn't step forward and say they were going to buy those games, I wasn't going to go speculate and start some kind of fund and raise $12 million and pay a bunch of people all kinds of money to make a bunch of games that nobody's going to buy. I wanted to make games that people wanted to buy. So I needed people. We had to do a backwards Kickstarter that never existed. And I had people that didn't like me, and they actually called, you know, the Attorney General of New Jersey and said I was running a Ponzi scheme. You know, and people came to the building and they saw millions of dollars worth of parts and pinball machines, and they said, hey, good luck. Take care. What can I tell you? You know, if I write books, it'll be a hell of a lot more than 10 books, I can tell you that. I can promise you that.
So give him some.
Thank you. Thanks for
John,
asking.
you had a question?
Who else?
John?
Yes. Here's a guy, John Greatwich. Anybody know John Greatwich from Canada? This guy, don't ever bring him a bottle of port wine. I can tell you that. He's a great guy. Yes, John.
I was just wondering, Jack, we see pictures of your factory sometimes. Are you maxed out on space, or are you still good for like another 5-10 years?
We're good. You know, when Dana East was running, they had a 42,000 square foot building. They were building about 16,000 games a year. We're building right now around 3,000 games a year. And we have 50,000 square feet. So, you know, what the building has to become, it always has to be this thing where you bring parts in, where you bring parts in. I didn't even have a pizza. You bring parts in and you ship parts out. It can't be something where everything goes in and nothing goes out. So for us right now, it's good. It's a good space. I don't need more room. We're good. We're good. But if you got some empty space somewhere that you want to give me for the right price, I might be interested. You know, you never know. So, anybody else? Yes.
I have a question. It's a little bit more off the beaten path, but I like the promotional one that we did for Dialed In, a comic book. I'm a bit of a comic book geek. And I thought that was a great idea. How did that come about? How did you process it, manufacturing? Is it something you might even use going forward with other machines to help promote and get word out? Because, you know, conferences are the kind of medium that everyone loves and loves to look at the kids. And
Yeah, I had, you know, I wanted to have a background story to how this thing came about. And comic book was a great way to do it. My niece's husband, Sal Brooklari, writes comic books as a hobby. So he drew them and did the story, and a few people worked on it, and it was a lot of fun, you know. Personally, I'd like to have that like somewhere up on a website somewhere, and keep adding to it, and downloadable, and keep the story going, but everybody's too busy to do all that stuff. You know, we could all think of a million things. The problem is, you know, making them all live and happen and everything, but I'm glad you like that. It was something pretty cool, yeah.
You gotta find a publisher to work with you.
Well, you know, Todd's got a publisher, so maybe I'll talk to his guy after he writes his 10 books. We could publish it on Amazon. Yes. Oh, by the way, so if you ask one question, you're not getting the second thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I got one already. It's okay.
Double dipping.
From the comic book, would you go to a live action movie?
Well, if you want to play the guy in the movie, we'll come back to you.
We gotta try to find somebody that holds their phone in that.
I can't even hold my phone like that.
It hurts my hand.
If I auditioned for that part, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, you're double jointed or something.
All right, anybody else? We're gonna wrap up. Anybody else? Okay. I have, what about the other thing there?
One more glass, we
All
got a
right.
couple more things.
All right, that's good. If anybody wants anything, they can come up front. If they want Butch to sign something or whatever. He's still, what?
I'm still going to Texas, so.
There you go. See how easy that is? All right, everybody, thank you. God bless all of you. Appreciate everything. Thank you.